complete end-to-end application. We learned a complete end-to-end application. Have you successfully done all those? Because finally, up to last session, whatever topics we discussed, those are only the topics that you will get in interviews. That means from the last session onwards, whatever up to last session, whatever we discussed, those are all the topics that you get in interviews. So after today's session, I will upload some FAQs. Already I given FAQs topic wise. Whenever we were discussing concept, I given some FAQs. But I will give some more questions which are regularly asked in interviews. What questions are asked in interviews, I will send a document, and I will send a sample resume format for React freshers, developers and all. So that if you are planning to put a resume like React developer, then what are the contents, how you keep a sample resume, I will show. I will send that. In Google Classroom, I will upload it. So last session we discussed complete about deployment. That means how to build a complete application from scratch by using Webpack, and how to deploy on cloud like Firebase. Right? Have you tried that Webpack? No, you are not practicing, right? So creating the Webpack application, deploying on cloud. I told you that you can put everything on cloud. So one more point is, we will see two more, as I told you, that you need to know about another concept. These are not required for interviews, but just having a knowledge of them is good. That's the reason these topics we just keep an overview, like, because React interview means up to the concept of working with complete end-to-end integration. That is enough. Now here another option is simple, is how unit testing works in React application. Actually, unit testing is nothing but, so it is the process of testing every component, So actually it is to check if the developer design is according to client requirements. The developer design is according to client requirements. For that, what we do is we use this unit test. So unit testing is to check whether the developer design is according to client. That means actually we call as, so we generally call as is and to be. We generally call this as is to be. As is means, so what developer designed, that is as is. What developer designed. And to be means what client wants, what client requirement is. That's what actually to be. So that means what developer design and what is the client requirement. If as is equal to be, then what does it means? it means test pass. That means your code is pass. So if it is not as is not equal to be, that means test fail. That means what client wants and what you design is not matching. Suppose in a component we want a link, but developer forgot that he haven't written a link. In a component we want a title, but developer forgot that. In a component a button click should return some result, but we are expecting one result, it is returning some other result. These are all requirement testing. Actually, to do this all type of testing, you need to learn a separate testing framework. Generally we have JavaScript based testing frameworks. You have to learn those frameworks. Generally people who are experienced in project development with separate experience in testing frameworks, those people are involved in testing. As a general React developer, you will not write any test every time. Right? We have a separate architecture review team for that. Those people are responsible for testing. We should know how test is written, because we can even verify whether the code we written is matching the client requirement or not, because testing frameworks are separate. Separate testing frameworks will be there, and it's not mandatory that every company have to use the same testing framework, because you may learn one testing framework, but in a company they may be using some other. So every testing framework is not same, it will be changing, different types will be there. Actually, to test React components, you can use various testing frameworks. So we have like we have Just is one testing framework. Another one is Jasmine Karma is there, like that. These are some popular. We have like XUnit, JUnit, and you have right other testing frameworks, like even JavaScript testing means you have Protractor. Protractor is also a JavaScript testing, because these are all JavaScript based testing frameworks. And remember, these are not only for React. Any JavaScript based technology they are using. So different JavaScript based technologies, we use these various testing frameworks. Actually, we use these testing frameworks. So different testing frameworks are present, right? How do we handle and work with these frameworks? Usually testing frameworks inbuilt, your project is already having a testing framework. Actually, React application by default have Just as test framework. By default it is having Just as test framework. That means it is internally having a testing framework called Just. If you want, you can install extra frameworks and you can use them. Right? So the default testing framework is that Just. I will show you a simple introduction of how testing is done, because our job is not testing, so we are just learning a basic introduction. So because you see the Just testing framework, this is Just IO, or this is Just. This is the official justjs.io. Yeah. This is a testing framework for JavaScript based application.
మీటింగ్ ఐడి చెప్పనా?
JavaScript based applications anywhere you can use. Anywhere. That means it is not related to React. Right? It is related to JavaScript. That means any technology using JavaScript, you can use it. Directly in ordinary web application with HTML, JavaScript also you can use it. It's not only for React, right? So that is the reason.
9163.
So testing is not related to React. It is related to every application development. And JavaScript based applications are tested using different frameworks. You see, this is the just framework. It is used TypeScript, Babel, React, Angular, Vue, anywhere it is used. Even Angular people also use the framework, but generally in Angular they have Jasmine Karma inbuilt. So in React we are having this just inbuilt. It's not mandatory that everybody have to use the same. They can change, they can put a different framework and use. Every testing framework is very huge. Means it's like a very big framework. You have a lot of methods, functions. You have to learn all those functions and methods. So, but if I show one example, you can explore. You can try by your own all other concepts. You see here. Actually, this is the configuration of testing in general. But testing in React I will show you. This is testing in general. General means you have a ordinary HTML project. In that HTML project you are using JavaScript. You are writing some JavaScript functions. You can test them. You can test them by using this process. But for React it's different, right? What we will do is for React testing. Let's see here application environment here. We already have some project.
పైన ఒక పెద్ద బాక్స్లో మళ్ళీ చిన్న బాక్స్ వస్తుంది ఓపెన్ అని. ఆ ఓపెన్ నొక్కు, తర్వాత జాయిన్ ఆడియో అనేది వస్తుంది. కంప్యూటర్ ఆడియో అది నొక్కు. నీకు రైట్ సైడ్లో పైన వ్యూ అని ఉంటుంది. వ్యూ రైట్ సైడ్లో వ్యూ అని ఉంటుంది. అది నొక్కు, ఫుల్ స్క్రీన్ పెట్టు. అది నొక్కు పెట్టావా? పెద్దగా వచ్చిందా? విండోస్ ఆర్ కొట్టు.
App component already a testing file is added, and this testing file is using just framework. Actually, our package JSON, you can see the package JSON is having it is
చూస్తా ఉండు రికార్డ్ అవుతుందో లేదో.
this is the test framework. This is the testing library. Just DOM, just
అవును పక్కన పెట్టుకో. పెట్టే అక్కడ నుంచి అలా పెట్టిందిలే.
These are all related to just
ఆ పక్కన ఎవడన్నా ఉంటే ఆడు చెప్పు, వైఫై కనెక్ట్ చేద్దని చెప్పు.
related library is automatically added into the project. You create a project. If not added, because last session we saw Webpack. There we created manually.
డీటెయిల్గా చెప్పాల్సి వస్తుంది. అక్కడ
How to install testing framework? Nothing but you have to install 3 libraries. One is just DOM, another one just React, another one is just user. So generally when you create a project, it's already there. And observe carefully this app.test.js. It is having testing already. It is having test already. So generally this is already having some option.